Hello there. Welcome back to Grade 10 Consumer Studies. In this video, we're going to look at a question paper of November. So we're going to look at question and answers. Of course, we're going to start on our question 3. So in terms of our 3.1, it reads what are pre and probiotics. So in terms of prebiotics, X is a fertilizer for our gland flora. And also, we've got second point, prebiotics are specialized plant fibers or high in fiber. Of course, we also have explanation on the probiotics. So probiotics are help to keep gut bacteria balanced by limiting the growth of bad bacteria. Also, on the second point, probiotics are live cultures of bacteria. So these are the uh, explanation that we have in terms of prebiotics and probiotics. So on the second question, define a gastroenteritis. Of course, we have an explanation is presented. Moving on, we also have the definition of constipation. So, and then on the 3.4, what is the benefit of using pre and probiotics for the above mentioned digestive conditions? So, moving on to the next part of our questions. We've got to explain the term glycemic index. Of course, we do also have the explanation on that one. So on the next part, what are the health benefits of low glycemic diets and low glycemic food? So we have the points that we have. First point is saying decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease or low density lipoprotein, which is LDA levels. Reduces risk of and manages type 2 diabetes. As the second point. Third point, the more successful weight management or appetite control or insulin sensitivity or keeps you fuller for longer. So these are the explanations that we would open to. So moving on to 4.3, explain the ranking of carbohydrates according to the glycemic index. So these are the explanations that we have. So on the next part, question 5, define the term eating disorder. So an eating disorder is a mental or psychological disorder defined by abnormal eating behaviors that negatively affect a person's physical or mental health. So, of course, it leads to distorted body image. Then name two possible causes of eating disorder. So these are the causes that we have. So on the next part, name the eating disorder most associated with binge eating, purging, and laxative abuse. So we have got bulimia nervosa is our response. Then 5.4, critical analyze possible management strategies or treatment options for the eating disorder identified in question 5.3. Then we have a continuation of our explanations on 5.4. Question 6, you have to evaluate why organic food production is seen as sustainable farming method by referring to economic, environmental, and social sustainability. Then on 6.2, you have to outline the three main principles of food security. We've got food availability, food accessibility, food utilization or use, food stability. Hmm. 6.3, explain the negative impact of increased CPI, which is Consumer Price Index, on food security. So on the next part, question 8, we have got the true or false section. So basically this is true or false. So on the first part, contemporary fashion refers to new garment styles that are worn by a new fashion leader. So this is false. And then second part, depression is seen as an economic factor that influences fashion change. True. And then 8.3, the natural textile cotton is environmental unsound and should be avoided. True. We go to the next 8.4. The peak of one fashion wave overlaps the decline of the previous wave. False. Then 8.5, brand name clothing has a negative impact on the country's economy, which is false. So on the next question, list 5 clothing tips for dressing for an interview. You have to dress neatly, wear a smart pair of shoes, keep your accessories minimal and professional, dress to suit the work environment. So these are some of the points that we can include. So we have a continuation of addressing for an interview there where we have address according to your body shape, wear clothing items that fit and is comfortable, avoid wearing potentially offensive clothing, avoid wearing anything too revealing. So at 10.3, you have to set two things to avoid when creating a professional clothing look. So these are the points that we have. Some of you want to 10.4, evaluate the wearing of a uniform to work. So we have both advantages and disadvantages that we have as listed.